we are kind of happy that we grow the community that cares more on creating new things and being more like the maker in our society instead of the consumer. Yeah, because I don't want to generalize, but then when I first came back, our society is still in the process of like consuming a lot of products from overseas because the cost of producing by ourselves is very high and we don't have that know-how, we don't have that scientific behind it to build by ourselves or sort of products or sort of goods. And importing is very cheap into here, yeah. But that's just very short term in terms of the development of Laos, yeah. But the long term, you have to be the builder from the inside. So it's hard to build this mindset for young teenagers, but it's a work in progress. We want to maintain our theme and concept of like everything is easy to learn if you have creativity, imagination, plus without guidance from the adults, guidance from other industry. I think we can build a very good next generation in Laos. Yeah, that's one of my ultimate dream.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Dean Long, the host of Lifeline Podcast, where we are going to have deep conversations with changemakers from all around the world, working hard every day to make the world a better place. My guests share about their journey, what impact they are having, what are their challenges, successes and lessons learned along the way, and I hope you can take away a few things from these role models and apply it to your own journey as a changemaker. If you like this episode, you can share it with 2 of your friends, put a 5-star review or comment on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or YouTube, and of course subscribe to receive every episode and continue learning from all these role models. In today's episode, you will meet Jim Kouphokham, who is the co-founder of Xiang Miang, a youth-led social enterprise developing the entrepreneurial mindset and technology skills of youth. He is also the co-founder of Makerbox Lao, the first public makerspace in the country, enabling the youth to build things by themselves and adopt a maker mindset instead of a consumer mindset. Coming from a difficult background, he studied hard to get a scholarship for Australia, where he was exposed to so many new ideas, opportunities, and people that made him more creative, entrepreneurial, and driven to make a change in Laos. Throughout his studies, there was this one question that Jim kept thinking about. How can the youth in Laos also be exposed to these opportunities and be empowered to become problem solvers? He came back to Laos and started collaborating with schools to conduct the first entrepreneurship bootcamps, data science programs, and technology trainings with Xiang Miang. This led him to launch Makerbox for the youth to have their own space to connect, build things with their hands, and learn about topics never heard of in Laos before. It's a space built by makers, for makers and aspiring makers, but for all of those who want to paint, build their own electric bicycles, discover the Internet of Things, play board games, or just have meaningful conversations. Enjoy this episode with the first guest ever from Laos on Lifeline. So excited, and see you later. Hello, Jim.
You're doing wrong.
Super nice to welcome you on Lifeline.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and so I always start by reminding a bit like how I meet you, and the background of why I was thinking you will be like a perfect guest for Lifeline. So yeah, basically, even before we met, it's funny because we are recording in Vientiane, Laos.
Yeah.
So I just arrived in Laos a few days ago. So I spend like every day with my colleague from UNDP Laos, and I always ask them, like, who are the other actors in this like entrepreneurship ecosystem? Or even when I don't ask, usually there is a name that always comes back: Makerbox Laos, Makerbox. You will see my friend is running the Makerbox, my friend Jim, blah blah, Jim. Everyone is speaking about you,
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. I was who is this mysterious guy? And then you just show up in the dinner. It's so funny. You know, when you show up, V, my colleague, she was like, yeah, you should speak with each other. And think we chatted a bit in that dinner. You were sharing like what you do with Makerbox, and for me it's so interesting. I think it really aligns with what I want to do with Lifeline, but also what kind of stories I just want to make people listen to. And yeah, also a lot of learnings from me, I think, just from your experience in Laos.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited. And just first question, just to kickstart slowly, can you introduce yourself? You know, like who you are, what do you do at work, outside of work, and just in general, like anything that you want to share, just to kickstart.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Xing Long. So, at first, I'm quite honored to be here in the Lifeline Podcast because I've been listening to some of the podcasts, and your podcast is quite inspiring. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Jim, or my Lao name is Opakon. So we have a very unique Lao name. It's quite similar to Thai, but I mean, in Lao language, everyone has a Lao name, but my friend always call me by my nickname, Jim. So currently, I'm a social entrepreneur. I founded a social enterprise called Technovator. People know it by Xiang Miang. So Xiang Miang is a youth organization that runs, that promotes technology and entrepreneurship for youth in Laos. And currently we have around 200 members. We call them technology and entrepreneurship ambassador. And so far we've been established for 3 years, and we have been doing a lot of activities, workshops, bootcamps, trainings in these two fields. One of our proudest moments was to teach data science for more than, up to now, is around 1,000 students. So by last year alone, we teach 400 students within 2 months. And this year, we just reached up to our 300 target line at the moment. And we aim for 600 by this month. So that's about my full time. So it's Xiang Miang. And beside that, I also co-founded Makerbox Lao, where Makerbox Lao is the first public makerspace in Laos. So you may know or may not familiar with the word makerspace. So the makerspace, we actually promote children up to adults to come and build stuff, tangling with technology, with science, with STEAM, and be the innovator by themselves. So this is what I'm doing. So basically, my work is around building the ecosystem with youth in innovation, technology, and engraving the mindset of entrepreneurship skill sets. So for the ultimate goal of one day, I can inspire them to become a problem solver, a very good problem solver for society, for Laos, and also for the world. So that's what I'm doing right now, and so that's why I consider myself sometimes as a trailblazer, because I like to try out everything. Whenever I graduated in 2019. And whenever I graduated, I haven't even got into a job yet. My parents always say, why don't you get a job? Why don't you do this, do that? But the day after uni, I would just say that it's the day of starting new things, starting to experiment, starting to try out something for myself and for others as well. That's why I started Xiang Miang in 2019. And we were lucky that we got a grant. So we got a grant from YCLI, which is the US government sponsored, and we also got a grant in agriculture tech incubation from ASU, the University of UC in US. And that's the beginning of Xiang Miang. And after that, we work with NGO, we work with the government, to run all sort of projects, just to thinking with youth innovation, just to try out new things, and try to at least be the stepping stone, or be the opportunity that youth can come in and can express their ideas, and we can just mentor them and try for them to be the initiator within their own community. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, thanks you so much for sharing like the journey, and also like the two grants that make you start.
Yep.
Thank you, YCLI. No, maybe just to come back on one thing I really found interesting is you said you said you like to do new thing, learn new thing, experiment new thing. Is it something that comes from you were always like this, even during your childhood?
Yes. When I was a child, I very obsessed in science, especially in physics, because physics is more like the science of questioning things, questioning the nature. How does it work? How does things move? How does the galaxies work? Something like that, yeah? And I'm always curious about these kind of questions. And when I graduated from high school, I started to pursue my study in physics for 1 year. And it opened up a lot of new, horizon. But it's just that sometimes I would like to do stuff as well. So physics and science is more on research. And in Laos, research is very, not up to pair with the other country. Yeah. So I decided to pursue my degree in electrical and electronics engineering under the Austrian Award Scholarship. And that's one of the life-changing moments for me. So I studied this major in Sydney for 5 years, and during that time, my academic is quite bad, I would say. Yeah, because I didn't get used to the society. The way of education there is a lot different from Laos. It's more independent learning compared to Laos. It's more like on learning by teacher, by school. Yeah, and it's at the same time it's actually one of the hardest time for me, because I got depression when I was in year 2, in my second year. And that time I'm questioning myself, why should I just, do I take it seriously? Do I take it too serious in what I'm doing? So I think back that, okay, this is the one of the good opportunity for me to develop my skills, where a lot of my, my co-citizens, my friends in Laos doesn't have this kind of opportunity. Yeah. So I put this as one of my motivation, just to study harder, just to experience new things and tinkering with all sort of like projects. And that's why I started to join clubs, like innovation clubs. I was a volunteer and mentor in the makerspace in my uni. And I also joined a startups back in my uni time, and yeah, that's one of the key moments that started my journey in entrepreneurship and technology. Even in my last year of university, I already plan and already write a project that what I'm going to do in Laos. Yeah, I co-founded Xiang Miang with my Australian friends. Yeah, my Australian friends, but at the moment they are doing other engineering projects right now. So currently I'm doing by my own. So I was very excited to graduate and come back and to do new things in Laos. Yeah, I always believe in youth, because youth is the origin of creativity. I believe that creativity starts by knowing nothing, starting by learning from the ground up. Yeah, because whenever you're getting old or you're becoming adult, it's possible to become more creative. It's just that you need to relearn and you need to learn it again. But youth, when we inspire or when we engrave something into their mind, they will change their life in the future. And that's why our small social enterprise right now, the average age is just around 18 to 25. Yeah, they are very proactive. They are very inspiring in a way, because sometimes they just work with me without any income. Yeah, they just want to be one of the team members that inspire the others and building this community together. Yeah. So besides, why do I have to do this? If you may say. So Technovator or Xiang Miang. So Xiang Miang, I'm not sure if the other non-Lao people understand Xiang Miang. So Xiang Miang is a Lao term that describes one of our fairy tale character, and that story is based on this guy called Xiang Miang, and he's very smart. He's very smart, but at the same time, he's not into that particular normal way of living. He wants to do things differently. He wants to do things oddly. Sometimes it's getting funny in his story. And I think that's the unique point, because I want this society, the new generation in Laos, to think out of the box and to be smart, in a way of like living, to live smart, to work smart, to anything like that. And there's smart is always coming from creativity, always finding new ways to do things, right? That's why Xiang Miang is more like it's not just a name; it's more like a spirit that I want every youth to think that they are Xiang Miang. They are the change makers in the society. Yeah. When we built Xiang Miang, people always questioning, is this what kind of youth activities is this? Why is it different from the others? Why? So we started by the topic of technology first, and then people always say, technology, I don't think this is gonna work, because why? The word technology is very technical and very complicated for youth, and how are you gonna, make sure that teenagers will understand and will be interested in technology? Yeah. So I started doing this because I think back when I was in uni, I did some internship with a Japanese company, and this company is very famous on building a programming bootcamp. So basically, IT technology is very popular and booming in Japan back when I was in uni. And everywhere they started to get a lot of kids coming in to join the bootcamp, right? And the special thing about that bootcamp is like it's so easy to understand these kind of technology. And what makes kids coming in so many? What attracts these kids? Yeah. And that company is like totally paid, like it's a paid bootcamp, and it's not that cheap, and everyone like keep mentioning about it. So I interned in that company, and I was inspired by it. So that's why our first bootcamp for Xiang Miang is on technology. And this time I do it for free. I do it for the community. But I changed the mindset of technology a bit just to make it more simplified, make it more fun. So I put my bootcamp in a way that it's more colorful, where a lot of teens wear colorful T-shirts. A lot of teens have different school come together, and we teach them how to solve problems in a way that they never learned before. We teach how engineering solve problems. We teach how entrepreneurs solve problems, and then it was a fun thing to do for them. Yeah, and it is just started to get our ideas that okay, this is just a tool, but what is most important is what are you solving? Yeah, what are the pain points of the society? Yeah, so by getting all of this, everyone just started to become more to initiate their own projects. Yeah, so from our first bootcamp, at the moment, a lot of teens, they're starting their own projects. Some are related to technology, some are not, but we are very happy and blessed that at least we had inspired them to do something, project to improve their community. Yeah, so that's what really drive me in some way. Yeah. The second thing is that in Laos we are in the right time of in terms of startups. The startup ecosystem here is getting to grow, and we got a lot of support from the government. We got a lot of support from association, but we still lack of technology talents. We still lack of innovators and programmers. Yeah. I experienced this by myself when I actually did a lot of things. Like last year, I also opened up a technology company and doing apps and website. And it's very hard to find like a very good developers. A lot of teenagers that graduate, they just those things that they learn in uni, it's not really relevant to the job. Yeah. So I was like, if I'm gonna do this, it's not gonna work. Yeah, I should like more focusing on Xiang Miang and Technovator, and started to build this community. It's not just for myself; it's for the whole society. Yeah, and I think I'm happy that a lot of tech company in Laos, they're very supportive. Some of the CEO, they actually come and mentor the kids, come and give some sort of like life guidance, what to do next and something like that. And I'm very blessed that we have a very good support from them. And yeah, so that's all about the community, about the actions, about all this stuff, right? And then starting from last year, I was like, but we don't have the space to do it. We run in 20 schools, we run in 10 schools. We are more like the actor, but we don't have the location, the space to do it. So, and I always dream of having a makerspace in Laos. since when I was a volunteer in uni in my uni makerspace. So I met these amazing people having the same ideas, the same goal, dream of to have a makerspace in Laos. So we met at the startups Lao Startup Festival, and so far we have 10 co-founders. We keep adding up, just to if anyone have passion in building this space, we just keep adding up. We didn't concern in any commitment or contribution. We just open up for anyone that would like to join us in this journey. And since the beginning of this year, we open up Makerspace, where the location we are sitting right now. And this is we take pride of having the first public makerspace in Laos, because actually we have in Laos already have one makerspace, but it's in international school. It's not inclusive enough. So this is the first public makerspace, and this makerspace is getting a lot of traction right now. People coming in and run all sort of events, from technology related to even like board games, and even like how do you say a coffee latte art competition. Yeah, it's kind of amazing how people utilize the space and the spirit of making stuff. And our co-founders are coming from all sort of backgrounds, both engineering, both arts and graphics, and so I learn a lot from them in a way. So we share a very, very similar goal and dream. And at the moment, we run it for 5 to 6 months now. And a lot of kids coming in and, play, tinkering from even like 14, not even 14, like from 10 years old upwards. They play with arts, they play with biology, science, and up to adults that we have hackathons, we have 3D printers, course of training, all sort of things like this. So basically the past few years was a tough time during the COVID situation, but we are kind of happy that we grow the community that cares more on creating new things, and being more like the maker in our society, instead of the consumer. Because I don't want to generalize, but then when I first came back, our society is still in the process of like consuming a lot of products from overseas, because the cost of producing by ourselves is very high, and we don't have that know-how, we don't have that scientific behind it, to build by ourselves all sort of products, all sort of goods, and importing is very cheap into here. But that's just very short term in terms of the development of Laos. But the long term, you have to be the builder from the middle of from the inside. So it's hard to build this mindset for young teenagers, but it's a work in progress. It's have a lot of support from Ministry of Commerce. We are now in the association of RICA. We call RICA Lao Association of Lao ICT and Commerce Association, where all the tech company are in. And we have this department of technology talent development. So Xiang Miang is a part of one who drive this community. And we also take pride in helping the NGO and international organization runs and events, and partner with them, because we have our limits as well. Like we take pride as we're not we're not getting money from the youth, but we're doing it for free for them. Yeah, but our in Laos we are very lucky that a lot of international organization runs or provide a grant for projects to develop a lot of parts in Laos. That's why we partner with them a lot. Yeah, and beside that, we also have our own YouTube or TV program where we produce like a very basic programming courses and very basic IoT courses for teenagers. And just still we want to maintain our theme and concept of like everything is easy to learn. If you have creativity, imagination, and plus with our guidance from the adults, guidance from other industry, I think we can build a very good next generation in Laos. Yeah, and that's one of my ultimate dream.
Wow,
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing the whole journey so far from high school and uni, Xiang Miang, Technovator and the Makerbox, and then like your dream. I really love, so many things I really like. Let me go back to a few points that I really like. I think the first one, Xiang Miang, I love the story.
Yeah.
And for me it's so interesting because it's more like, like you ask yourself like, what would Xiang Miang do in this situation? Then it forces you to be creative.
Yes.
And I really like what you said about, I work a lot with youth, right? And many times we have the question, why are the youth important to do this or that? But I never heard such a good explanation from like the creativity part, and you're so right. Like our 20s or even before, it's a time where we do a lot of things for the first time.
Yeah.
We are not influenced by what we have done before. Like for example, I'm 50 years old, but I have a way to work because I work maybe 20, 30 years the same way. If I join a company where they work differently, it might be very difficult to fit in, except if I have a very flexible brain. While if you are 20, it's still the age where you can absorb so many things and decide what's best for you.
Yeah.
So I really like the way you put it. And also one thing I really like is when you are in Australia, how everything you learn, everything you do, or everything you see, you think how either I can bring back this to Laos, how can it be applicable to Laos context. And maybe a quick follow-up question on this. I wonder like how I feel like the trigger of this mindset is your depression that you had on second year.
Yeah.
So I wonder first, like when you first arrived in Australia, did you already have this mindset like everything I learn, I will go back to Laos? And if not, like if the depression is a trigger, like what really, I don't know, what really pushed you to think like this?
Yeah, that's a very good question actually. I will be honest with you that when I first arrived in Australia, I didn't have this kind of dream or this kind of mindset before. Of course, before I applied this scholarship, Australian Award scholarship, I want to do something, but it's not this clear that what I want to do. But that depression was one of the key moments, because it's just the time that I can reflect with myself, reflect on what I'm doing for, who I'm doing it for, and why do I do this? Yeah, and should I continue doing it or not, or something like that. And I always have my favorite words, and my favorite word in English is gratefulness, because every time I got stuck or anything, I always have someone to to lean on. Like a lot of the teachers are very supportive. I even have my own psychologist back then, and my friends are very supportive. Whenever I got depressed, they're just coming in and are you okay? Need some help or something like that. And then so I it was one of my key moments, and then I started to realize that what I'm doing is not just affecting myself, it's affecting who I'm going to interact with in the future, where I'm living, and and it's making a huge impact that it's more important than what I'm feeling at that time. It's more important than just giving up on something from my own perspective, because it's going to impact many people. So I told my parents then that I will continue studying, doing my best, because this is not about myself now. This is about something that I'm going to do in the future. So my parents understood at that time, and they were very happy, and they're very supportive. Even right now, they keep mentioning what I'm doing to their colleagues, because my parents they all work in electrical engineering industry, and all my dad's and my mom's friends all know me a lot, and always ask where's Jim? I thought he's coming to work with us or something like that. And my parents always take pride out he's doing his own thing, his passion, and building the community. That depression makes a lot of change in my life. But overcoming that depression is quite a very difficult moment. I take a lot of time to go hiking and joining new clubs, and changing my accommodation, joining the student accommodation called International House. I built a lot of friends, a lot of international friends there, and also getting to know myself, spending alone time with myself, and always talk to myself all the time, and always be clear of my goal. Do I actually going to do this or not? Is it going to impact anyone? And I always stay focused on what I'm doing, even though a lot of people may see me as like I'm not successful in terms of financial income. I'm not successful in terms of being rich or anything like that. But I'm very passionate in building this whole community. Actually, to continue with that depression part. When I first came back, I have a very good friend. Her name is Pan, and she also very passionate in terms of building the community of mental health in Laos. And I'm very inspired by her as well, because mental health changed my life, and I hope it changed other people's life in a good way, right? And it's some people might think it's something that is bad, but it's bad because maybe they just lost in their life. They don't know what they're doing and what they are passionate about. But after overcoming these difficulty, I would say it's one of the key milestone of my life.
But it's so important, I think, because you mentioned it gave you time to think about why you are doing things, which is a question no one ever asks us in school, or no one, like, there is never the space for us at school to wonder, like, why are we actually learning this? Why are we actually going to university? And many times we might feel depressed because, you mentioned about many people might see you that you are not rich or whatever. And I feel like what is being promoted is like the KPI of finance,
Yeah.
how much money you get. So many people would, by default, because they don't know, they would follow this because it's what everyone is speaking about.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't necessarily, or usually never match with your own KPIs for success.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I think it's such an important topic, and especially when you are young, because like, why do people? Sometimes people have this. When you had this revelation, quite young. Some people have it at 35, 45, or never have it. And but then if you realize at 30 years old, you wasted a bit, 10, 12 years of your life trying to just get as much money as possible. So interesting, because but you could have enjoy your scholarship, stay in Australia, be super rich. Because really, I think I have to highlight this because it could have been one of the potential pathway, but you didn't.
Yeah.
And so congrats for this. I think I love it. Like what you said last year of uni, you already have your plan, what you want to do in Laos. It was already sort of what you thought about with Xiang Miang?
Yes. But that time it wasn't. I didn't come up with the name Xiang Miang. I was just come up with the ideas of technology can create something that magical, because as you can see, a lot of innovation right now, it just changed people's life. To become better, to become smarter, and doing something more efficiently. So I was like, let's build something like maybe a school of magical, or some sort of like magical things. Like the science and technology is the new way of describing magic, something like that. And so I came back and I realized that as you mentioned, even though finance and money is not important for some people, but sometimes to run a project or to getting started, it's very, very important. Yeah. And compared to Australia, they are very startup friendly. I think they are one of the top startup friendly city, like Sydney and Melbourne, where there's a lot of like investors, there are a lot of angels who would like to invest in your ideas and build within your team. But when I first came to Laos, there's no one. It's exactly no one. Yeah, if I pitch an idea to someone, they just say, it's just an idea, man. Like, yeah, you have to make money. Yeah, so I started and I stayed in Australia for 5 years, and I lost a lot of my connections, my contacts in Laos. Yeah, I started by building from ground up. I went to so many cafes in Laos. Well, for those audience who don't know Laos, in Vientiane and Luang Prabang and many places in Laos, we're having a lot of like good cafes, good coffee shops. Yeah, and there's very unique places where a lot of people meet each other. Yeah, so I hop from one coffee shop to another coffee shop just to meet people that I don't know.
So the people you don't, is like you reach out to them on Facebook, and then you just meet people all the time.
Yep, because Facebook, social media here is very active. The youth and a lot of people are very active in social media. And when I was in Australia, I always keep an eye on, he's very inspiring. I want to meet him, I want to meet her. So I always note down who's I wanted to meet. And when I first came back, I know like my elder brother, my elder sister, I keep asking them, do you know him? Do you know her? And then they connect us together, and then we met at a cafe. And from there, I started to intern. So basically, I interned in one of the, I think it's one of the biggest job promoting company. Yeah, it's called 108 Jobs. So I met my very good mentor. His name is Akel Visuk. and he see my ideas, and he really want to help. So the next day he called me, okay, yeah, come and help me with for a month. So I because I asked him that, okay, can I come and work with you, and just to get to know what you are doing, and just to get a lot of some experience in our context. So yeah, he accepted me, and I worked with him for 1 month, and then from there I getting to meet a lot of people in the society. I got to meet the government, especially the Department of Digital Technology, Department of SME, and they're very supportive. It's just that we don't know them before, Yeah, they're very supportive. So my mentor, Mr. Gavisuk, he connect me with so many important people. One of the most important people that I met is also her name is Nana. She was the person who started an incubation center, one of the first incubation center in Laos. And she also started some sort of a startup ecosystem here in Laos. Yeah, so she helps me a lot, mentoring me a lot in building this community, building this technology talents. And I heard from her on all the pain points that Laos needs, because sometimes you're coming from youth, right? Coming from young generation, we don't see what are the adults think about the society. So I love talking with adults. I love talking with teens, and mix these ideas and listen to the pain points of everyone. And hopefully one day these pain point coming in, and we discuss amongst my team, and then we come up with workshops. We come up with all sort of skill sets that we can at least just train and engrave into the young generation in creative way, creatively way. Make it in gamifying them, make it fun to learn, make it easy to understand and easy to remember, and more hands-on for kids. And we met a lot of great teenagers along the way, and we inspire other teenagers to be the same. For example, I met one teen. He's very, ambitious, imaginative. Whatever he's using, he likes to build it from himself. Yeah, so. He built an electric bicycle by himself. Yeah, and he built an electric motor by himself. And whenever he come to Makerbox, he's a huge fan of Makerbox. He coming in and he met me and said, "Oh, I want to build this. I want to build that." Yeah, so I want to see some teenagers like this, more in the society. Not just about building stuff, but about starting something by themselves, starting to see problems around them, and tackling them without asking, or without joining or doing things with others. So that's one of the key moments, I would say. And there's a lot of cool kids in Laos and around the world that I'm quite inspired by them, and that's the spirit of Xiang Miang. I want to people to remember and to become one day. Talking about my work, at the moment, I think we are describing as social enterprise. The word social enterprise here is quite new in Laos. Because if you register your company as social enterprise, they don't know about social enterprise. They just think about, you're a business, you have to make money. Yeah. But social enterprise in Laos is getting there, and there's a few social enterprise in Laos that making a lot of progress, like Stella, which is the youth organization on more on soft skills, soft skills training for youth. There's a กำลังใจ that I just mentioned on mental health. There are even arts environments such as zero waste Laos. And I'm so happy when I came here and see that we are starting to getting started with this movement, the movement of creating new things, from youth, and Xiang Miang also taking pride of being or inspired to be the biggest youth community in terms of technology and startups entrepreneurship. Yeah, so in the future, we hope that it will run sustainably. At the moment, each projects are run by youth, starting from 18 years old. Yeah, one 18 years old, very smart youth. He's running an online learning application for youth. Yeah, and one teen's just starting second year of university. She is the head of Xiang Miang. Okay, so basically, these youth, we open up for them to be leaders in their own group. Yeah, and run it and freely express the ideas of how are you gonna contribute to the group and how you would like to see the society in the future, because we cannot think from their perspective. We have to get their ideas from youth instead of us adults that helping them in this way. Yeah, so it's amazing how they come up with all sort of activities, all sort of skills, and all sort of ideas. Yeah, I think Xiang Miang cannot run without these youth. These youth are the driving of Xiang Miang, and I hope one day it can become a wider perspective. It can enrich into something that is more impactful. There's so many SDGs, so many issues around the world that is like chronic issues, right? And I think we are hopefully one day we can expand into other provinces as well. We can expand into a remote area, bringing in a lot of youth. And I hope these youth still have the passion to drive Xiang Miang and to drive Makerbox, to drive Technovator into a better community, in the future. From my side, I'm quite blessed to bringing some support from other organizations, bringing some support from the adults, from association, from the government. And we are helping each other in terms of delivering this kind of target. People always asking me that how do you monitor and how do you make sure that these youth actually successful in terms of learning and develop their skills from Xiang Miang or from Makerbox? I always say that you might not see you might not see it now at the moment, and each single word, each single skills that you teach them, it will affect them entire life. It will change their mind, because everyone, when we, like what you said, when we start doing things, we will keep that very deep down as our principle of living. And I think by keeping the mindset of a problem solver as the core principle of any kind of person, of the youth, it's a very good way of approaching life, because life always has problems. Life always have big, small problems and never stop. And if you have a mindset of like, I'm a problem solver, there's no such thing as a difficult for them in the future. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's one of my proudest moments with the youth, with this community, and I hope one day in the future it will grow into a bigger community and impact more youth, especially if I can help them with my experience in technology, my experience in startups and entrepreneurship, and also getting help from you, from UNDP, from so many places. I think that we have very bright future. Yeah, we have a very bright future. Yeah.
Cool. I think so many lessons to highlight again in everything you share. You have it's like you have so much wisdom. Everything you say. There's so many. No, I really like. Maybe to come back from in the period. You come back to Laos. I really love what you said. You are in Australia, and yeah, of course, like you lose a bit connection with your friends in Laos, but you still sort of look at what's going on there, and this person, I want to meet him or her when I come back. You have your list of people you want to meet.
Yeah.
Just reach out to them, or trying to find if your friends know them, and just meet a lot of people, help people in their work, which is also a way for you to understand what's going on here, understand what you can do. And it sounds simple, but most people don't do that. We might believe that, I should do this, but we don't spend too much time on like really immersing ourselves into what's going on or the community.
Yeah.
And I think it's so cool because actually one of the many people ask me, in the phase where a bit like the phase where people are a bit lost, where we maybe didn't identify what is our purpose.
Yeah.
We ask ourselves why, but we don't have the answer. But we still ask the question. But this period where you ask yourself why am I doing this, but you don't have the answer, is very painful. But the advice I like to give usually is to just meet as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Because is gonna answer for you.
Yeah.
And it's what you did. So my advice is not bullshit.
No, it's very good advice. Yeah.
And I love it. And can I work with you and support you for a month? It's also a great idea. Just you are back. You have a lot of skills. How can you help people? And at the same time, you meet a lot of people. So many.
Yeah. So talking about like knowing what I'm doing is, I would say it's not just like I always fix with what my purpose or my dream, but it's just that whenever you grow up and you met, like what you said, like it's better to meet a lot of people. When you meet a lot of people, when you experience a lot of society, you just open up your new purpose or your new horizontal. But in terms of the core purpose, it's still the same, like making an impact and making lives better. But in terms of how are you going to do it, it just maybe it's keep tweaking a bit, and it should be fine. I think for those who don't know your purpose yet. So yeah, I'm very happy and very agree on what you suggest, that keep meeting people, keep talking to a lot of people, and listen to what they are doing, and find your way of doing things differently, or even the same. It's fine. Like just trying out new things, become a trailblazer, and don't take pride of taking a risk, because everything is a risk every time. Even when you earn money is a risk. When you earn money is risk of having money, but you spend money is a risk of giving out money, and everything is a risk, and you have to understand that life is a risk, and if it's small risk or a higher risk, it's impact you differently. If you're brave enough to take the bigger risk, then it will impact you more. Yeah. Especially when you're young, when you're still physically strong, when you're still mentally strong. Just take pride of this kind of strength in you. Just take a risk. I always, when I first started what I'm doing, I always think that, okay, the worst case is I still have my parents, or I still have where to sleep. Yeah, and that's not bad, Yeah, that's not bad at all. And I can survive. I can survive. It's more people that even worse than me. Yeah, just do things with what you are passionate, what you are capable. From a small step, and it will become a very important step in the future. And accepting ideas, accepting other people to join you is one of the key moments as well, because you cannot do things alone, right? And there's a lot of people. If you can think, or if you can imagine one idea, there's like 7 billion people around the world. So you always think that, okay, your idea is actually, some people may have already been known it before. So maybe there's someone next door that wants to do this with you, the same ideas. And it's better for having the team that can help, especially when we first built this makerspace. We are lucky that, there's other 9 co-founders that having the same ideas. So that will help you to achieve your goal faster, because you're not doing it alone. That will help you to figure out how are you going to expand your goal, what are the ecosystem going to be like around it, how are you going to make an impact. Yeah, so that's one of the key message that I would like to exchange, to share with other youth that are still figuring out what to do and want to initiate their own project, want to make an impact in society. Just look around your friends. Maybe your friends want to do the same things. Just maybe ask your parents, or maybe be with yourself like me. Spend some time with yourself, exploring new things, and go on hiking. I love hiking a lot. Trying out new foods. Every idea is engraving in every corner of around you. Just try, go out and try things. Yeah, and make it in your own way. I think that's one of the key message.
And to come back on like the first day of Xiang Miang, would you say it all started? When would you say it Xiang Miang started? Did it start with YCLE grant, or did it okay, let me rephrase. Would you say the first day of Xiang Miang is once you got the grant, or it was already before?
Actually, Xiang Miang is like what I said. I already planned it when I was in my fourth year, my final year, and even when I got the grant, I didn't even come up with the name yet. Yeah, so we just thought that, okay, I have an experience in technology, in even especially hardware, in IoT, in electrical engineering, electronics. And my friends got an experience in startups, entrepreneurship, everything like that. And we all scholars, so we have different mindset. We have very, very imaginative, and we just want to build something in Laos. At first it was just a small project. Yeah, it was just a.
What was the first project that you did?
Just a bootcamp. Yeah, just a bootcamp. It's 4 days bootcamp, and 4 days bootcamp, and then we think that we should expand this bootcamp. So we make it as a 3 months bootcamp. Yeah. So within that bootcamp, we have trainings, workshops first. Yeah. So we teach them soft skills like presentation, logical thinking, pitching, business model canvas, all sort of soft skills things, teamwork. And then we have bootcamp, where we make it fun and we make it more and like an event that youth are looking forward to come and try. And then we have competition, where after the skills and after the content that they have learned, they should have somewhere that they can apply it, and that we can assess that how well they have learned. So we have that competition, and after that activities, we just started to get a lot of traction. We built our own TV programs. We have our own ambassador program, and we build connection with international organizations such as ASEAN Foundation, where we teach data science, and from that time we just keep continuing doing what we are good at, especially running bootcamp. So this year we aims to build we aims to build 2 bootcamps, which focusing on entrepreneurship and technology, because from our own experience. But we aim to bring in 20 schools in Vientiane, and hopefully one day, and even next year, we aim to build our own student clubs. So basically, a Xiang Miang student club within each school, in other provinces as well, and it will be run by these ex-alumni Xiang Miang, and it will be mainly focusing on building innovation to tackle local issues within the community. Yeah, by using this kind of tool, technology and entrepreneurship. And I hope one day it will expand and it will run smoothly, and of course with the help from the government. I think we are in a very good timing. We are very good in position right now. So if any NGO or any youth organization would like to support us, we are happy to partner with you. And if there's any small grant or anything, we are very happy to to apply for that project and grants and partner with other organizations as well. Even though we're taking pride of technology and entrepreneurship, for me, I'm always learning as well. So I learn a lot of entrepreneurship skills from both Eastern and Western side, because when I got the grant from ASU, Arizona State University, and they are actually the number one innovation and entrepreneurship school in the world right now. And so I got mentored by the professor. So I learned from a lot of entrepreneurship content that they are teaching, and I tweak a bit. I make it more relevant to Laos context. And I also learned from other entrepreneurs in Laos. I'm very happy that a lot of entrepreneurs in Laos are very supportive. Even when I request them to come in and become a mentor for the kids, they are very happy to, regardless of their very busy schedule. So that's why I'm very grateful. It's what I'm building is not just about me. It's about many support that keep coming in. It's about many youth that we are make an impact. It's about even not what we are impact. It's about the youth that we have trained that could impact someone's life as well. Yeah, so it's more like a domino effect. Yeah, and we cannot see at the moment, but we always believe in the future. Yeah, in our goal. We always see every issue as opportunity to improve ourselves and improve our innovation, to make it better, to make it more effective in solving other issues as well. We always see competitors. We always see other people who are doing same things as teams, as partner. We love to collaborate with other people in all sort of other ideas as well. And I hope that one day there will be at least one or two youth that can describe themselves as Xiang Miang, the spirit of Xiang Miang, and in the future can become someone that can make a huge change for Laos. Yeah.
This guy.
No. Yeah, but yeah, I'm so humble to learn from you as well on what you are doing. You learn from all my friends. You learn from so many people. Yeah, and this podcast is also very inspiring to sending the message to many people that listen right now. And sometimes the message can change everything that they are thinking about. Yeah, and to deliver that message is very, very important. It's very a key moment, because for myself, I also got a lot of message from my connections. If I haven't got to meet them, I wouldn't be myself at the moment. Yeah, so a lot of message. Actually, being the core things that drive me right now. So, yeah. So, if bad feedbacks, good feedbacks, recommendation, mentorship, it's everything that making who I am right now. And I hope one day I can be that small message for the other as well, for them to know what they are doing and to go on with their life and to make a difference. Yeah, and I'm very happy to meet a person like you, and that travel all around Southeast Asia, all around Asia, to inspire others by interviewing those who make a difference in every corner of the world, and this message is echoing across the world. It's technology is magic. I always say technology is magic. Like if someone can hear your podcast, and they will change their life in some way as well. Yeah. So I'm very optimistic of our work, both for the youth, both for the country, both for the entire world. We keep having issues coming in, but this issue is a proof that we always be coming up with other creative innovation that can tackle all these problems. And yeah, I'm very happy to be in this podcast and to share my small step, because we just started for almost 3 years, and that's why I'm so honored to be one of your guest speaker, and from listening to other guests in your podcast is very inspiring, and I hope one day I can meet them in person, like you. Like, I think you're very lucky that you met them.
Yeah, one day I hope I can do a Lifeline summit. I can bring everyone.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, that's very cool. It's very inspiring. Yeah.
But no, thank you so much for all the kind words. And yeah, no, I think I really like the way you are so humble too. think it's very, very, very interesting. No, I really like your mindset that you always learn from anything, because you mentioned, right, like you mentioned eat new food. Every time you speak to someone, you learn something. It's also a mindset to have.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned gratefulness. I think it's linked. That you don't really take things for granted. I think it takes a mindset to really, everything that you do, it can bring you something somehow, someday. I don't think many people think like this. So I think it's very, very nice. I wanted to come back on one point that I found very interesting. And it's... you mentioned, like, Arizona State University, they have the content, and you learn so many things in Australia too.
Yeah.
Then you mentioned, you adapted a bit for Lao context. So I wonder, like, how did you adapt it? Is it mainly on gamifying it, making it fun, easy to understand, or is there like specific things that you think you had to adapt for Laos context in terms of content, or I don't know?
That's a very good question as well. So all the entrepreneurship skills that I've learned, I started by taking a course in my second year in Australia and joining Sydney Startup Hub. And I founded my first startup when I was in Sydney. And back then it was all about technology. It was all about innovation and building new things. I mean, like, if it's new there, it's new everywhere. But if it's new in Laos, it's already exists, because Laos is, in terms of technology, we are quite behind. And with the guidance from my mentor from ASU, I think the content is quite... it's very difficult for me to say, because it depends on the context and the environment. Because sometimes when we teach about social entrepreneurship, we teach about how to design your own business. If the group is coming from an agriculture background, we need to tweak a bit. We need to see what are the effective ways to plan their business, and to in order for them to really do it by themselves. And if you compare with the technology side, you need to have a huge huge budget to maintain the technology. But here, if you talk about applying technology in agriculture, sometimes it's good, it's a good thinking, but in some way maybe the context, we are not ready yet. It's more, there are more important issues than just having a fancy technology with the agriculture. So we try to listen for problems from every context, and try to adapt and change our lessons, entrepreneurship lessons and technology lessons, to match with that pain points, with that issues, and also apply for. We also look at the background of our audience as well. For example, if they are from youth, from young teens, we gamifying a bit and make it fun. It's easier to understand. It may not teach them a lot, but it may getting them to start with the mindset. And then maybe when they entering the university, they can learn more on this. But talking to the more adult side, then we assess them first, what sort of issues or what sort of business or what sort of ideas they want to do, and then we try to adapt and then tweak our lessons accordingly. So every workshop is so different. We don't teach the same things. Every workshop I think we sit together with the team, and then we try so hard to make it fun and make it relevant to what they're doing in Laos. Yeah, because maybe sometimes there's just a trend on having these big words, startups and having big technology, but the core ideas of these big words is if you can apply it or not, if it's relevant to you, and if it can solve the issue that you're facing, that you're coming up with in the first place or not. Yeah. If you learn these stuff without knowing how you're going to apply it or how you're going to solve this issue, then it's irrelevant. Yeah. So
I think it has to do with your engineering background, that you have to understand what's the application of it.
Yeah. I think it's a very good part of that as well. With my engineering background, even with my science background, and even when I was kids, I dream of becoming an artist.
Oh, really?
It's entire different things. Yeah. When I was in primary school, I was like, I'm very passionate on painting and on sketching, because my grandfather, he is a national artist. And when I grow older, I want to become a scientist, a physicist. And then when I graduate uni, I want to become a social entrepreneur, make an impact. That's why I always keep sending this message that changing your path, changing your goal is okay. It's okay if you feel lost, or if you feel like, what I'm doing right now, it's fine. That's a good thing. It's just that you need to understand your core value, that am I doing it for what? For making impact or not? Or make it for my family, for my friends, or for who? For the skills, you can learn in any time. If you are young, you are old, you can learn in any time. And the support, you have a lot of support. Just ask for support. Yeah. If you ask for it, then you'll get it. Yeah. There's so many people that has a lot of good supportive mindset around you. Even in this society, in a very small society, until a bigger society, there's so many very good people around you. Yeah, and hopefully one day, the audience will realize that okay, we are not alone. We are surrounded by so many people. That is very inspiring, very doing great things, and and you are doing great things as well. Compared to them, you are unique in your own way, and I'm very inspired in what uniqueness each individual person have in themselves. Yeah. So that's maybe I'm out of track for a bit. Yeah.
No, it's interesting. Yeah. And but I felt like, because you say you wanted to be an artist and then scientist and then now social, but you are still not too far, because being a maker is a bit like being an artist, and you are teaching about science. So I did a small visit of the makerspace, and they were saying that actually it's nice to say you have the biggest telescope in Laos in the makerspace. Yeah.
So you have met Ken. Yeah. So our co-founders are very inspiring as well. We would like to have Makerspace, Makerbox as the initiator of something new to society, introduce something new to society. We are not limited to what we are capable of, like technology. But for example, when I was young, I watched a movie, like a scientific movie, an astronomy movie, spacecraft, something like that. And I got inspired to be an astronomer or physicist, yeah. And if young teens can know what is out there, what is out there beyond what they know right now, it's can open up so many potential into from them. That's why we keep coming up with events that is new to Laos. We have an astronomy month. I don't think there's an astronomy month yet in Laos, and it's the first time. So we have a very, I would say the biggest telescope in Laos, but who knows? Maybe there's a bigger telescope than ours. And we invite a lot of like astronomers that works in NASA, works in everywhere, and giving a speech to Lao teens and inspire them to become like them, you know. Or even in the other areas, well, in arts, in agriculture, in handicraft, in so many areas, we would like to do something different, and you know, look around the world and what is making, what is effective there, and try it out, and you know, try to introduce it to Laos, and let's see if Laos can, you know, can learn and can can use that and inspire themselves to do the same things. Yeah.
Can you share some other projects in the makerspace?
Our very first project is an IoT system that grow mushrooms. So we see the problem of growing mushroom in urban area is very difficult. You need to have a perfect environment for them to grow. So we built a very small capsule that can grow around, let's say, 100 mushrooms. Yeah, and you can you can take them in anywhere to your house, and you can grow them anywhere. Yeah, and we built it. Yeah, so using the sensors, using the IoT system to tweaking the environment inside that capsule, and try and make it the perfect environment for mushroom to grow. Some projects are very culture things as well. We stopped that project, but we did that project when there was a rocket festival. Yeah, so in Laos we have a rocket festival before the farmers growing the rice. Yeah, because we want a lot of rain. So we believe that sending rockets to the sky, our traditional rockets, will bring more rain. Yeah.
When you say a traditional rocket, the picture I have of a rocket is like what the NASA sends in the space.
Not that big. Yeah, it's very small rocket.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
but it's the same principle.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Same principle. Same. We use gas. We use the same gas or the same principle of launching the rocket, but the visual side of the rocket is very traditional. We build it with wood and a lot of traditional things that we can find around Laos. So that's our culture, yeah. But what Makerbox make it different is more like to bring in a device that can measuring the height. They can sending the rockets higher. They can sending the rockets that have stay longer and can spin. Can doing all those things, yeah. Sometimes we don't have to solve problems all the time. I always say solving problems, but
have fun also.
Have fun also, yeah. So we make fun out of that as well. And we have a lot of projects. We have building irrigation system, smart irrigation system for Lao farms. We have a projects of translating text to speech to help disability people. In Laos, it's very different from other language where we don't have, a system that can voice, they can speak out loud the text in Laos. Yeah, so we are in the progress of building that. We also have other projects that maybe not belongs to us, but belongs to a student that using our space. For example, an electronic library, also electrical bike, like what I've mentioned, and even some sort of non-technology related project as well. Yeah, so I think Xiang Miang is one of the points that bringing in a lot of teenagers, a lot of change makers, and start their own projects here in Makerbox. Yeah.
And maybe to understand the model, so you have like 10 co-founders, all the projects that you mentioned in the beginning. So it's like it will be something maybe started by 1 or 2 or like 10 co-founders. So you build like, for example, this irrigation system or anything, something else. And what is so you build it in order like to have a product and to sell it? Is that the end goal?
No. At first we built it as we just wanna explore new ways of doing things. Yeah. Maybe small issues in the farms, or trying new ways of dealing with the rockets. And at first we just want to have a message to Lao youth or to everyone in Laos that we can become an innovator. It doesn't have to be that hard. It doesn't have to be that serious in it. It can be fun a bit. It can be something that is just right next to your door in our daily routine, in our daily life. Build something easy. Start by something easy. So from your question of 10 co-founders, we have different interests and different for our different backgrounds. So some of them are very into software, so they do a lot of software projects. Some of them are very interesting on hardware like IoT, and we do a lot of IoT stuff. Yeah, so I think we distribute the duty, we distribute the projects accordingly to everyone's experience and everyone's interest. Yeah, and we make Makerbox as a more like a center for learning, a center for creating stuff, and we even take it for free. Like half of our Makerbox is free to use, and the other half we just, because we have a lot of like machines like 3D printers and a lot of technical stuff, we need to have a small fees. It's just 20,000 kip per day, which is equally around $2 per day for them to coming in and to try out to learn this machine. Yeah. So basically, even from our co-founders, we have our own full-time job. Yeah. For me, it's totally on Xiang Miang and Makerbox as my full-time job. For them, some of our co-founders works in telecommunication industry. Some of them are teachers. Some of them are IT company, are artists, are finance manager. Yeah, we have different background, and we are lucky that we coming to the same goal, same dream to build the Makerbox.
And how did 10 co-founders come together?
Yeah, so for Makerbox, we met at the Lao Startup Festival. Yeah, it's the festival that bring in startups and pitch, and it was first launched in 2019. So back then I bring Xiang Miang. So in that startup festival, we have Xiang Miang showcasing their pitching and showcasing their innovation. And then we met. So I got to meet Ken and Derek. So they are coming from a tech side as well, and they're very inspired and have the same dream of building a makerspace in Laos. So we come together and we always keep recruiting new new colleagues, and and for now we have 10 co-founders in Makerbox right now. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So interesting. Like, and when did you meet the first two co-founders?
When?
You met them in 2019?
2019, yeah.
Okay.
December 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you launched...
Oh, no, 2020. Yeah, 2020. 2020. Yeah, 2019 when we first started Xiang Miang.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we started singing for about 1 year. And then we met for this idea of makerspace, of Makerbox.
Yeah.
And then we built Makerbox in 2021. May 2021. Yeah, so Makerbox is actually around 1 year old now.
Okay.
Yeah, since the day we built the floor until now, just 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you walk a bit through the process? Like, so you meet these two co-founders.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, let's build a makerspace.
Yeah.
Then the first step is to find a venue, or
No.
Okay.
So the first step is, I don't even imagine that we're gonna come this far, because the first step we just meet every Saturday, just for a drink, a coffee, and we plan. Okay, we want to build this rocket project. We want to build this mushroom project. Let's do it, and yeah, just to promote, and then just to get some grant or any support that can build this Makerbox and then build this dream. We keep recruiting a lot of like social change makers, and I would say everyone in our co-founders team, we all change makers in their own way, and people knows them a lot as well, and then we keep promoting that, we want to build the first makerspace in Laos. At first people just say, you don't have the money, you don't have, is it gonna work, because it's gonna be the first new ideas in Laos. We approach a lot of like big company, and then people just say, this is very interesting, very, very interesting. But then they're just, okay, let's see, let's see, let's see, and I will keep an eye on you, I will keep supporting you. But they didn't even mention on how are they going to support with the budget or anything like that at first. And then there's COVID situation. We were looking for a space, a good space for us to have the first makerspace. There's so many options around in Laos, and then we come up with this space in Pak San because at first this space is emptied. There's no shops, anything like that, and there's no one using this space. So we negotiate the price, and then we have a very good price, and then and then we build this space from us. So we share the budget. Some can share a little bit, it's fine. Some can share more, it's fine. And then we build this space as a community space. A lot of the space here, a lot of stuff here are donated. For example, all the woodwork, everything here is donated from the wood company. And even the paint in Makerbox are painted by an art students. We bring art student to paint the wall. So we create Makerbox from the spirit of maker at initial time, at the first time. And it's actually it's quite effective because we don't have to think about finance a lot. We think about sharing. A lot of machine here are from our co-founders. So if we have something at home, we just bring it in. And we also accept electronic waste. I think it's the first time that we in Laos are accepting electronic waste. We have another room that store all this electronic waste, and then we fix some of the waste, and then we make it available, like a free computer available in the makerspace. So teens without any PC or anything, they can come and work and can use that equipment. So basically it's not that fancy. It's when you say makerspace, some may say it may look fancy, like may look like MIT, like labs or something like that, But here we just building from what we have, building from what the society wants, and share the space so that people can come in and become the owner together, of this space. Yeah, and from the Xiang Miang perspective, we are very lucky that at least for 100 ambassadors in Xiang Miang, we have a space for us to tinkering and to help young teenagers around Laos to do something more. So we run a lot of events. Most of the events runs during the weekends. It's not just with science, technology. We also have painting workshops. We also have Lego workshops. Yeah, for young kids painting Legos. We also have latte art competition. We also have astronomy, like what I have mentioned. And in the future, we would like to do something new like that. For example, some sort of a topic that haven't mentioned in Laos. Yeah, like disability. Like last weekend, we have a hackathon in disability and inclusiveness. And we like to open up all sort of new ideas and all sort of new activities. And anyone can run event here in Makerbox, just requesting from us. All those activities are not running but from us alone. It's from other people as well. We even have a board game clubs that coming in. So a lot of teens coming in and play board games. Yeah. So it's more a mix between fun and education. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. If I lived in Vientiane, I would just come all the time.
Thanks.
How and a personal question, but how do you? Because you work the whole day with Xiang Miang. Every evening you go to Makerbox. Every weekend there is an event. So, what do you like? Yeah, how do you keep up with this rhythm?
Yeah, I think I can keep up because that's my character of always change, always trying out new things. Maybe it's not relevant to everyone. Maybe some people want to do the things slowly or more faster or even like one by one. But for me, I like to try out a lot of new things. So in the morning, I keep myself busy with planning and meeting people. Actually meeting people outside of Laos. So I have a lot of friends outside of Laos, and we talk online. And we share ideas. What's it like there in Australia? What's it like there in Japan? And then during afternoon, I have a lot of meeting with the youth project manager. So we have 6 project manager right now, and those youth project managers have their own projects. Yeah. So Xiang Miang also run by youth. Like at the moment, I would say just supervising, because I just want them to run it by themselves. So we meet and then discuss what are the progress, what are the things that we like to do, and share the other projects to others as well. And after the afternoon, I'm more into local way. So I love to visit schools. I love to talk with the principals of the school. I love to meet a lot of people. Right? I'm still going to a lot of cafes still. Yeah. So, and at night, I like to develop my own skills. I am still passionate in technology and learning entrepreneurship. And hopefully one day, I still want to build my own startup as well. So at the moment, we are in the process of building an education startup. And hopefully we will launch soon. During the weekends, it's even busier for me because we have events in the Makerbox, and we also have events for we train our volunteers, we train our ambassador in the soft skills, in technology, in all sort of skills, so that they can become a trainers themselves as well. So yeah, it's fun, and sometimes it's tiring, but I mean it's worth it. It's a lot of stuff. I also a freelance tutor. Yeah, so I teach IELTS and physics in weekdays after work. So today it's fine. So I teach Tuesday, Thursday, and also on the weekends, in the morning of the weekends. So
you're always busy.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's just playing by working by playing, something like that. Because I love teaching when I was young, and then I love talking to people. I love making my students' life become better. Because from the scholarship I got, and I can mentor them to get the same scholarship and pursue their degree as well. So that's my hobby. I would say that's my hobby, to become a tutor. Yeah, and I got to meet a lot of people as well on my way of becoming a tutor. Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, just quick follow-up question on you love learning new things, but could you share maybe what is one resource or two resources, or it can be a book, a movie, a documentary, or whatever that really inspired you, or really helps you be who you are today?
Yeah. I would say I don't have a specific. There's so many books and so many. I think what changed me a lot is people that surrounded me and giving me advices. And but if it's book, then I read one book when I got this depression. So the book is called I would say the importance of second chance. Yeah, so the importance of second chance because at that time I was I feel very failed with my life. My study was so bad, and I don't know what I'm doing. And and that book always teach me the second time it's the best time, because you have been through everything. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from a way ahead of everyone, and it helps me to reflect on my life, what I should do with my friends, and with my parents, with my loved ones, and it's impact everything around me. And the other things that I've learned a lot is from experience it by myself. I would say I'm very bad at learning from reading or learning from theoretical base. I'm learning from meeting new people and listen. I love to listen to people a lot, especially young teenagers, and compare with adults. Yeah, and that's what teach me a lot. And I inspired by my dad a lot, because my family was coming from a very poor background, and he's a very hard worker. He raised the family from having nothing until now, and he always teach me that if you want something, you need to do it by yourself. If you need something, it's better to ask. It's better to learn from others, but you cannot do it the same way. You have to do it with your own way. Approaching your life, because it's your life. It's your own life. You have to approach it your own way. It may have some sort of difficulty and stumble in some cases, and that's unique things about your life. You should be proud of it. My dad teach me a lot of cool things because he's been through so many things as well. Even getting into Australian Award Scholarship, it also inspired by my dad because he got the scholarship when I was like 6 years old, and then after that I always dream of getting the scholarship as well because it changed my family's life. I was like, I want to. After I graduate from high school, I must get this scholarship because how it's impact my dad's life and me as a child, so that's why I keep pushing and study hard. When I was in high school, I studied so hard. So to sum up, I think learning by doing and learning by carefully listening from the others' perspective, the other ways of solving problems, and try out with your own. I think it's one of the key message that I've learned so far. I think the book's also very good in some cases if you have time. You should have take time apart from what you are doing, learning as well. Every time you're at home or every time you are you have free time, just be with yourself and learn your needs and learn what are the effective ways that apply it around the world, by using reading books and all sort of stuff. I think it's very effective. So most of the books I'm just getting from my other friends as well. Other friends also read a lot of books. I'm not that I wouldn't say that I read a lot of books. I read some books. It's just I'm more like a hands-on person.
I should have guessed, actually. I'm so stupid.
I know.
You launch a makerspace, so obviously you learn by making. I really loved your answer. Learning by doing, and all the inspiration from your father that encouraged you to do all of this and get a scholarship. Really, really love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are approaching the end, I think.
Yep.
So I always end with the same 4 questions.
Wow.
So if you listen to every other episode, you will see I always end with the same questions.
Yeah.
So the first one is, right now you are 30 years old, right?
I'm 28.
28?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So you're 28.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you were 30. Okay, random number. Okay, 28.
Yeah.
So let's say you can go back in time 10 years. You are 18, so you just got the scholarship.
Yeah.
You just got the email that you will go to Australia, and you can tell something to this younger Jim.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What would you tell the 18-year-old Jim?
Yeah. I would say because before I was 18, before I got the scholarship, I was very how do you say, in routine, like in rule and regulation. I always follow the what society is. If my teacher say yes, then I would say yes. If my parents say yes, I would say yes. Yeah, I don't have the questioning side. I don't have the curiosity, the critical thinking back then. I would go back and tell him that okay, it's fine to go outside of the box and try out new things more, and experience on something that is different from what you're doing, even though you're not passionate in that. But maybe it could open up something better, open up something that you haven't imagined before. Yeah, so that's the thing that I would go back and talk to myself and try to convince him to be more creative and doing something risky and some sort of
That's really cool. So you were the Xiang Miang.
Yeah.
Cool. And how would you like people, to
I would say I would like people to remember me as a normal person that always want to support you, that always want to bring the potential from you, in any way, even from my experience in technology and entrepreneurship or not, or even from what you like to do, and on board with me and try to create something that is new, that is creative, that is out of this world, effective to the society. I'm very happy to help. The second thing that I would like people to remember me is like Xiang Miang. Like Xiang Miang, everyone has their own way of solving problems. The term smart, I keep mentioning the term smart, but smart, I would say different in different contexts. Yeah. For me, it's more on if you are eager to solve problems in differently, in effectively utilize what you have learned, effectively utilize what you have experienced, and combine them into effective ways of solving problems, which some people may say it's called innovation. Yeah. So yeah, that's I would like to people to see me as Xiang Miang, and you can become Xiang Miang as well. And I would like to see the spirit of Xiang Miang within around the world, or even Laos and Lao youth as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And how would you describe yourself in 3 hashtags?
In 3 hashtags?
Yeah.
That doesn't need to be an adjective or anything. Yeah.
Just 3 hashtags.
I would say I'm a good listener. I love listening to people and digest a lot of good ideas and everything like that. Yeah. So whenever you talk to me, I always listen until you finish, and I'll just keeping on adding in my ideas. Yeah. And all my youth members, they love it. They because they like to express their ideas, and I always be the last person who listen to them. The second one, I would say imaginative because I hate doing things that is the old way of doing things. I always love doing things new way, and I always optimistic of the ways of approaching problems. Yeah, because many people always think that I'm going to give up because even the bigger hierarchy or the government or anything having problem with this issue. Who are we? Are we capable enough to do it? But I always believe in imaginative mindset. Yeah. And the last word, hashtag, it would be about myself. It would be maybe a change maker. Yeah, change maker and a believer. Yeah. If I believe in something, I won't give up easily. It's just gonna be like this for a long time. Yeah. It may change, like what I said, the ideas and everything, but the core value is still the same. Yeah. So I always believe, I always dream of something bigger, something optimistic. I always believe in my team. I always believe in myself, my family, and everything in my country as well. I love Laos a lot. That's why I came back, and I want to make something different for Laos. And I think Laos has a lot of potential to become a place where innovators starts as well, because of the trend of the youth. Our youth in Laos are very proactive in these past years, and I would say it's one of the strengths that we have now. So it's up to us as an adult to how are we gonna utilize that strength? How are we gonna teach? What are we gonna teach them, and how are we gonna train them to become? Yeah. So yeah, I'm very blessed to be myself right now. If I can change, I wouldn't change anything. And I'm very blessed to have a very supportive environment, supportive people that always listen to me and always push me to do small steps by step. And I always blessed to have a very good team as well. I love my team a lot, my youth team and also my Makerbox co-founders. So that's my 3 words to describe myself. Yeah.
So cool. Listener, imaginative, believer, change maker, and love Laos a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I love Laos a lot.
And the last question is, how can people contact you? Why should they contact you? And you mentioned it a bit, but how can anyone support Xiang Miang and Makerbox Laos?
Yep. So you guys can contact me through my Facebook. So it's Jim and Kouphokham. My surname is very hard to spell, but I mean, maybe should be a name in your the title of podcast.
I can put the link.
So my Facebook, I'm happy to talk to anyone who would like to have a chat, or even add me on my LinkedIn, the same name, or on my Instagram, or even follow Xiang Miang page. So I put the name in your podcast, Xiang Miang. It's for foreigners, it's very hard to spell, and some may say it's Chinese, but no. It's Lao. Yeah, Xiang Miang. It's a very unique name. What's the second question again? I really got lost.
How can anyone support Xiang Miang and Makerbox?
Yes. If anyone would like to support us, I'm very happy to partner. So basically, if you like to support in terms of the youth projects in innovation and entrepreneurship, then I'm very happy to partner with you. Or if you have any grants or any financial supports, then we're very happy, because we are really in need in that, because we are self-sustained. We don't have any income. We don't have any benefits from what we are doing. We're doing this with our pure passion and pure impact in the society. So just contacting me from what I've mentioned earlier, and just have a quick chat. I think it would be great. I love talking to people. I love listening to people, and that's what made me today. So keep talking to me. So I love talking to you guys as well. So I'm very happy to have a chat and explore. So my whole morning is dedicated to talking to people. So that's it.
Cool. Thank you so much, Jim, for your time. Do you know how much time we spoke without looking?
Whoa. I don't know. I think this is my first time that talking this long.
Try to guess how much time?
An hour?
No, we just passed a 2 hour.
Wow.
4 seconds ago.
Wow.
I'm very
That's
good
amazing.
at time management. Wow, because each episode is around 2 hours. 2 hours. I really love this episode. Really, I will force all my friends to listen. It's such a good. Oh my god! But for the story, everyone. Before we started, Jim was telling me that he's not too satisfied with his public speaking skills, but actually it was very good. Tell him it was very, very good. I think you have a lot of. It's funny. Someone one day told me that I'm very tweetable. Like I can put my stuff into tweets, like 140 characters. But I think you are very so many quotes.
No.
I can just take from what you said. It's very. I really love everything you shared today.
I think I'm very like whenever I speak Lao or I speak English, I always have a bit of pausing, and because I always think of coming from my heart, from what I'm dealing with. So when you listen to me right now, it may looks good, it may sounds good, because what I'm talking about something that I'm passionate about, and I love. I learn and I experienced this for so many years. Yeah. But if it's a new topics, then something that I'm not familiar with, then I'm really bad in talking about that. Yeah.
Cool, but no, I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I really loved it. So many lessons, so many learnings. And yeah, if I lived here, I would just come all the time.
Please. Yeah. This is my first time in the podcast as well. I never do this before. And even when I told my girlfriend, and my girlfriend said, "Really? Are you going to do it?"
Really?
Maybe the podcast needs to edit a lot of my speech, because I'm not that good speaker.
I keep 100%.
Oh, really?
I will not remove anything.
Oh my God!
Which also makes actually the editing easier. Is I keep everything, and everything you said is good. But no, I just keep everything.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me. I mean, I'm honored because of your the guest speaker that you have interviewed is amazing. I'm honored to be one of your guest speakers, and hopefully one day I can become like them and become like you. And I want to have my own channel as well one day. So hopefully one day, you can come and visit Laos anytime, and I will be here. And I want to show you the power of youth, that how much they can do and to change the society. A lot of people always talk to me 2 years ago, and they was amazed, like, "Oh, this was the idea back then. You were telling me this, and now it's here." And I always say, "Oh, it's not mine. It's not me who's doing it. It's the people who are supporting me and the youth that I'm mentoring. I'm supervise them." And I think that's the power of teamwork, the power of youth, the power of having a clear goal for yourself, and also support from the others as well. Yeah. So thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor, and hopefully I can continuing listening to other very inspiring speakers from your podcast.